Well, we'll just have to find
I just wanted to ask that while the music got dramatic, and
I think they will actually.
I think they probably should. So that's something that you're gonna expect here. The Callista, that Doran, what we wanted him to play in game 2, I guess that's also banned away. So unfortunate. Won't be seeing any Pokemon trainers up there on the top side. As a lot of discussion about this second ban would be the Varus instead. So trying to push Guma's champion pull out. He gets the camera shot there. He's not looking too happy about it so far, but still early on in this draft, and these are very commonly banned 80 carries. They take away Morgan's Rumble here in that second ban.
This is really interesting, though, because does this force T1 to pick, like, a Xayah early or a Lucian early?
I think they will probably pick his champ in the first rotation because obviously it gets thinned out pretty quickly as an Annie ban. It's pretty surprising to see. The Jace is still available, and for T1's final ban, we'll see what their look is going to be. It could just be a Scion ban, I think, or a Yorick ban. Feels pretty safe right now into Bro. Nefiri is the other top-tier jungler that's left available that we've seen Owner crush on. They're going to ban that Scion, so they're knowers.
Yeah, I think this is a smart move, taking that one away from Morgan, something that he has been able to have decent impact on. But I think, like, Nefiri first pick could be the thing like you were talking about. I do feel like it's a bit of a trap, but Talia is very strong, so that one makes some sense.
Closer's best champ. We won't talk about some of those Weaver's walls, but in terms of the seismic shoves and where he needs to be on the map and where he is on the map and where he's able to set up single target, blow up, has been great. His laning phase has been great.
Also, it denies Faker's Azir, puts him most likely on the Ahri, which is still a very scary pick. They can play Ahri Nefiri here if they would like to. But still, I think I'd prefer Faker on Ahri than Faker on Azir.
I would in this draft as well. And they agree. So that will get locked in. The Nefiri is likely to follow. I think there's a world where you could play Viego, but not probably going to happen in this case. Owner wants to play something that he's already well-versed on and is incredibly safe.
Yeah, the Shaco's probably it. That's what I was thinking as well.
I would have liked to see. It would have been very fun.
It would have been definitely deceiving.
Yeah.
I do like it. We could have then read the Shaco lore.
Yeah, he hovered the Shaco clone. I knew it. It wasn't actually really going to happen. As this is not a surprise to anyone.
I mean, it's a little bit. Doran hasn't necessarily been having, like, all success on the Jace, but still good to see that he's happy to lock it down.
I feel like I remember the LCK Cup Doran a little bit differently than Chronicle was talking about on the space. I feel like we saw domestic Doran in the first few weeks, so we saw him in playoffs a little bit on the Jace, where he was playing tank Jace incredibly well. Like when T1 was all on the same page, did enjoy a lot of that. He knew he was going to be playing against Yorick, which is why I think that the Jace lock-in makes sense here. And let's see if they want to deny the Nefiri pick, because that is something that Bro can now do, and that would be the trade-off of grabbing Jace right here, right now.
I think Nocturne could also work if they want to play for side lanes more. I wouldn't mind it. Then you've got like double pseudo-globals.
I agree with that. It's a really smart call. I think that Owner just wants to get a little bit more information before he's willing to lock the Nefiri in.
A little bit more team fighting with the Wukong.
Works well with Yorick, too, in those occasions where Yorick shows up to the fight.
And also, you get the Cyclone down, then you put a Ghoulie Wall around them.
Yeah, and then you put a little seismic shove on top of it.
Oh, sounds pretty scary to me.
A lot of rocks getting unraveled.
Oh, man.
I still think that Nefiri makes sense here.
You could take Poppy as well.
Yeah, Poppy feels very good.
Yeah, I guess like Poppy into Wukong is definitely good, but Talia and Yorick don't really care, so...
It's just Nefiri Ahri is so powerful, and you have a lot of dive potential. You have a lot of backline access with this draft, and you can soften targets up with the Jace and then follow up on them so incredibly well. We've seen Faker have obviously a second pentakill of his career and one of his best Ahri performances very recently on the same pick. I mean, T1 are one win away here from a 5-series winning streak after having a rough start to the season.
And it was all 2-0s as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of absurd.
Now, you mentioned this, like we talked about maybe Guma was going to get his pick in the first rotation. We kind of went past that and didn't actually talk about it anymore. Now, the Lucian is going to get taken away again here. The Jhin is gone. We'll see if they'll target him further in that final spot.
I already wrote Xayah.
Yeah,
I already wrote it down.
I think Xayah is pretty safe here to ban, and we'll see what Guma wants to go to this time around.
And the Kai'Sa being banned only makes it more understandable.
It makes it pretty apparent. Yeah.
So we'll see whether they do actually get rid of it. The Alistair will then immediately come in.
Yes.
As, yeah, we called that one pretty quickly. And so now, is it going to be holding counterpick? No, it's just going to be the R4 cow, and that makes a whole bunch of sense. Alistair going to be locked in.
You know, this is not one of those situations where we've seen, like, in the past, you know, Guma plays the Neela or something like that. Like, whoa! You know, we forgot he had that one, but I don't think this is that kind of draft. I think he might just end up playing a scaling AD carry here. Although, let's see what the matchup is going to be. Varus is gone, right? A lot of the AD carry pool thinned out by Bro. It means their opportunities are less. The Ashe is like the highest tier list pick that's left available. Can be quite strong into the Alistair.
I actually quite like it. And
Poppy?
then Ashe Poppy, because you know they've already picked the Alistair, so you're not going to get punished for this. And so the Talia Poppy combo will make things a little bit difficult here, as the Ezreal is going to be locked in. And Yushi.
Huge cheer to the crowd.
Yeah. You can see, like, I think Goom probably heard it as well. Bit of a sly grin on his face as well. Not necessarily known for this pick.
I mean, a pick, frankly, that he has avoided, but he has played in the past and has given us some pretty decent performances on. Even though he doesn't lock it in often and doesn't have the confidence to play it often, you have to imagine.
And also gives him a lot of self-peel opportunities as well. Still, there's a lot of team fighting power here for the Bros, and they will be able to control areas really effectively. Looking forward to seeing how it goes. But Owner is on another really powerful pick, and he has been really good. So that might make the Bros' life a little difficult.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. And that is, like, that's the true Akami skin. It's a little bit corrupted, but I think it's about the closest that you can get. Thank you, Owner, for that one. As the Bros moving in for a little bit of an engage to start us off. I just want to go and zoom in on Owner and have a look at this this Neferi skin. I do like the hot dogs, but I'm such a Akami fan that I just prefer that skin.
Yeah, I agree. I've given my whole case.
Yeah, you've had a spiel on that one. That's one that we definitely share.
And if I take the nameplates off, I kind of like Bros draft, and I think that the Yorick pick is the one that stands out to me as this one could backfire. It does weaken your team fighting, but it's extra side lane pressure against a T1 composition that I think both scales decently because it has the Ezreal and the Jace poke damage for neutrals, but also kind of needs to be in control of the game, or Guma has to really pop off. Like, if you fall behind in this draft, Doran and Guma have to land a ton of poke.
Thank you so much, G-Sun and Yundo, for that one, because we get to see it, and you can see it's not like pure white, you know, like Amaterasu is, but still pretty close. As far as the chromas are concerned, it's the closest.
Yeah, I kind of was like Gurumon as well.
We've got to get the Digimon in there.
Yeah. Let's see how this lane goes, because Ashe versus Alistair, feeling pretty good. Poppy also can be quite strong in the early laning phase, but Gumacaria going to look to be aggressive.
There's another headbutt out, as Hype spending most of this lane just running back. But you can see, not exactly getting a whole lot of power until level 2, level 3. And that is exactly where T1 make it to. As
level 2 first.
Actually going to zone Bro away from... No, not the next one as well, but they almost missed out on experience of one of those melees. In fact, they did.
Actually pretty cool, though, to see that headbutt from Keria affecting the level 2, getting them that angle, pushing Hype away. It's actually pretty clean. And guarantees on level 2, and now they can start looking to put the pressure on further with the Ezreal.
Bulk shot, spots out Owner, gives them the good old thumbs up. You like to see that.
Important information to have. Those are once again aggressive laning, working in his favor, but dead even in CS.
Yeah, nothing really to worry about here as the Jace is on a 5-game losing streak. Kind of crazy. Especially with King and Zeus on that list.
Yeah.
Zeus especially from the last series.
A bit of a
have
struggle.
The best performance, exactly.
Yeah. Keeping an eye on this bottom lane as level 3 is hit here for Keria. Good steadfast presence, though. Will interrupt the combo. That's just otherwise, though, Alistair is a pick that we've talked about for years as it kind of auto-loses lane, but it has just been so stable. I think both, some of the buffs to the picks that we're seeing with it, like Ezreal, have made it a little bit easier to play out, but I think teams have really figured out how to stave off the pressure better with the Alistair, and we're just seeing it win lane so much, and it's Gumacaria, so...
Yeah, and it's also against a Poppy, right? So you're also not going to be in a position where you do a whole lot of winning if you are on the Poppy.
You have to use the terrain. It's quite challenging when the other team knows that you have that limitation. So, good measured play from Gumacaria.
Well, this is a bit cute. Okay, never mind. He's just going back. So, Doran not going to get punished or anything like that for his positioning, but Owner is going to double scuttle. And there's not a whole lot that the Bros can do about it. Teleport back in from Doran. And so a lot of the lead is going to be this jungle, as Owner will be able to just clear out a whole bunch more. Also able to go back, grab his wolves before he goes back home. We'll see what he can actually put together there as Croco with a rock and a sword.
Both junglers pinging where their jungle opponent will likely be to their team. It's pretty cool to see. They're both exactly correct. Owner pings the Krugs where Croco is heading. Croco pings the Gromp where Owner is heading. So both teams very aware of where the jungles are despite not having vision. Just love to see like little things like that from pro gamers where they're able to track the pathing incredibly well.
I think Hype as well, being able to spot which camps are up and which aren't on the minimap, on the map as well, as Polo looking to come in and deny Faker here. He doesn't actually have level 6 as the Ignite is ticking down, Threaded Volley needing to be flashed. And so Faker not going to die, but is going to be in a little bit of trouble. No teleport available either as a seismic shove just barely misses.
Man, Faker, such good reaction on that flash. Ends up getting punished for his positioning there, but does not die. He's just so quick. No matter how long this guy has played, he is not going to lose. So those core mechanics.
Yeah.
But still down a flash now. Doesn't feel great. Successful gank there from Palu.
And Area in position, not able to find a follow-up onto Closer.
There's a lot of vision for T1 in the river and near the Raptors. Like, they had so many wards there, so I guess that Palu was able to avoid that on his way over his door and almost gets ghoulied.
Yeah. Jace is very good at dealing with the ghoulie wall. You can just accelerate your shock blast, and you only needs like a few shots and it goes down. Sorry, you press your acceleration gate button in, the W.
Yes.
Yeah. Not acceleration gate, because that's the other.
That's the other one.
Yeah, that's the Z.
There's AoE down. Owner cannot necessarily win this 2v2 here. He's actually just going to go untargetable and run away. That was a peculiar move there, but Doran does stave off the pressure. No dragon attempt here by T1 as Bro just...
Nice shove.
For some pressure more. Faker's flash still down. He used his charm.
Charm doesn't actually hit onto anything at all, but Owner is moving in here. Threaded Volley doing a fair bit of work as Croco just trying to bide his time as now Faker getting on in there, and Croco is in so much trouble. He flashes, he finds the Q! And the monkey will live! The doggos don't find the daggers either, and Closer is now looking to finish off Owner if he can. Carrier comes in, and that is going to be the cow saying no to all these shenanigans.
Wow.
A lot of animals in the mid lane, but a big win for the bros.
Flash Q from Croco, and Doran's in trouble now.
Wait, the flash forward, the ghoulies, the maiden! Are they going to be able to get the kill? That little ghoul! It's not going to be enough, okay. Whoa. Okay, the Lord and Savior of the bros. Not quite able to get a solo kill, but that is definitely a better look for Morgan.
Yeah, but it is a Jace out of the lane, and he's going to be able to pick up at least a plate here. Doran is going to miss a ton of experience and gold here on this wave as well. Morgan very happy with the exchange. He knows Doran doesn't have teleport. Would have been happier, of course, if that ended up being a kill. He's picking up a pretty significant lead, and it's really only Guma's Ezreal that has a gold lead right now here for T1 anywhere. Once again, solid early is Faker. Where are you at?
Oh dear.
Rocks are down.
Yeah, the rocks go down, and Faker not going to be able to do too much about getting out of the way of this one. It's good charm onto Closer, but I don't think it's going to save him, and it in fact does not. There is yet another kill. Faker 0-2 right now, as we're going to have a look at this mid-tango once again.
Yeah, this is a really close fight here as Owner comes over. Faker kites back, right? And then Owner puts a lot of damage onto Croco as Faker is trying to look for the follow-up here. But Closer hits him with that extra Q, and then Croco flashes to take him out. That flash was really critical. And they know Faker, of course, didn't have his from the previous gank. Here it's a Weaver's Wall, and Palu got the full wraparound. I think it's a pretty greedy from Faker here, but also a nice catch, a nice punish by Bro from long range, using the Weaver's Wall for a pretty short distance, but it's enough to trap Faker there and lock him down. So 2 deaths now for the GOAT.
A flash immediately comes out as well from Doran as we head back into live. Hype being able to at least grab that cooldown. As here on the top side, we do have a little bit of pressure put on by T1. Hype grabbing this wave is a little bit of a worry, but the bros feeling very confident, especially with Faker towards this bottom side of the map and showing on vision. And it is going to be grub number 1 going on over to the bros.
Yeah, they got it without smite, so they still have a smite for a second one here, so looking very good for a 2 for 3.
Yep, Hype moves on in. And the True Shot Barrage getting a fair bit of value. In fact, over all 3 of them is massive, but it is a 2 for 1 trade as far as the grubs are concerned.
Doran getting Brio there on the top side really warped how that was going to go. Nice avoid here from Carrier as well. They took the pressure in the top side, turned into a grub swing there, and the True Shot Barrage was massive. Doran had faster rotation. Hype could not get involved into the thick of things there outside of his ultimate. And so T1 ended up getting a grub there, pushed them away. Doran actually maintained gold parity for a moment with that extra pressure he had in the top side there. Now finds himself behind again as Yorick is by himself, unanswered in the side. Looks like Morgan's going to pick up another plate, but a lot of work done by Doran in that kind of quiet part of the game, but still going to be Morgan in the lead.
Oh, and there is a fair bit of damage on towards Faker. Of course, Orbit Deception does a decent job against the ghouls, but Morgan very, very happy on his Yorick. Maybe, like, the Yorick is now the new Renekton.
It's like
Morgan. Maybe that's, like, the thing. It's just transition.
Yeah, you're Renekton.
Yeah.
I think that champion mastery is something that we, in the LCK, don't always talk about. We talk about what they can't play, but not what they're really good at, and especially when things are a little bit off meta and a little bit niche in terms of what their role is. But Morgan has such mastery and such comfort on the pick that even though we scholastically don't like it, he keeps finding success with it. And I think he might be, like I said before, the best Yorick in the LCK. And once again, showcasing why they draft it for him so often. Something that is a pain point for us casting some of these drafts, but has been a success point for some of Bro's biggest wins.
Yeah, it's working out. And Morgan has been a guy that's just found success on something that's, like, very specifically him. Like, even in, what was it, 2021, where they did make that amazing run to Worlds. Like, the Camille that he was playing at the time, it wasn't the conventional way that you would play it, right? Like, he'd often just figure out a different way to make a champion
Well,
work.
he was, like, first picking it and stuff like that back then.
Yeah, he just didn't care.
He was just like, no, I'm good at this champion now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And we were like,
and also, I'll lose lane, but it's okay. We'll win. Like,
Yeah.
we can make team fights work no matter what.
Yeah, he just, I don't know. It's the kind of player that he often is. And I mean, he's winning right now against Doran in terms of the extra pressure he got in the bottom lane. He's still up 300 gold, almost killed Doran solo. He's going to grab another plate here. And until it stops working, I'll sing his praises in this one.
Ghoulie Wall. It always just makes me a little bit more excited than I have any right to be, but it is still a very fun ability when it does land. Is that turret not quite able to give away another plate?
And this is on Bro Vision.
Yeah, Ona calls back the doggos, and it should be Ona taking this one down pretty comfortably.
And I think they're going to kill Doran. Yeah, I think they're going to kill Doran in exchange. But Doran, potentially aware of this, see what he decides to do. They're going to get a plate at worst case scenario, but I think they're going to get a Jace too. As here comes the Wukong.
Yes, I think Doran getting the idea that he's going to have to try and clear out the wave. The Ghoulie Wall comes down, the arrow sails on through, so does the True Shot Barrage. That's pretty cute. Faker's teleport just that little bit too late, not going to be able to save the Jace. And Carrier even able to get up here as T1. They also get the Dragon, right? It's not exactly end of the world.
Because Faker teleported, though, Closer's going to get more plate gold here on the bottom side, so...
Look at those plates that they've just prepared earlier here. It's like a cooking show here, the Bros.
Just pulled it out.
Yeah, pulled it out of the oven. It's like, no, we had these ones prepared. We just made the batter earlier on, but here's how it's supposed to look. All golden brown and delicious.
Yeah, because, I mean, you could see, actually, if you look at the mini-map where you were looking at the mini-map, you could see that Closer actually channeled it back, and then when they see the teleport, he's like, no, I'm not backing. And then he gets a plate and then backs. And now he can come up here and catch this top wave. Morgan has teleport, so this small teleport advantage and this small push and pull, the tug of war that Bro is winning, is starting to add up in the gold. You know, it's only 1,500 about the lead that they have right now, but it's, again, significant. A lot of that's on the York, so, you know, your results may vary, but
well, I mean,
they're making it work. He's getting pressure on the map, and they're utilizing it well.
It is also very important for a split push side lane champion to be ahead. Otherwise, you definitely do nothing, you know? So investing into the Yorick is something that they will have to do. Hype misses that CS, but it was hiding behind the turret, so it gets a bit confusing there. Still, the Bros playing slow, and I think that's totally fine.
Yeah.
About 1.3k going to be the lead here. Looking to try and lock down some feats of strength. Need a couple more objectives if they want to make that one happen. As next dragon going to be an Ocean. Let's see what the Soul is going to be moving later into this game.
Faker, looking for that first item still, is significantly behind. Closer has been trying to patch up some of the top side. Is now getting pushed in by a Yorick.
Yep.
And, you know, in terms of objectives, there's nothing yet. The Herald is up in 1 minute. See, Owner will reset and we'll be able to return before then, but Faker still doesn't have his teleport. So Morgan is kind of playing around this. He's like, are they going to gank me? Because he can either hard pressure the turret and give up the Herald or try to keep Faker interested. Obviously knowing that he can teleport at any time is pretty massive. Like, not that he wants to fight, but the fact that he has teleport means he can utilize it for extra pressure. That topside turret's still alive. He can commit. There is the arrow.
Yeah, arrow not going to connect this time around as now Doran trying to get away from these rocks. The threaded volley really starting to hurt from Closer. And Doran realizing that he is not safe towards that topside flash or no flash. Still not something that he wants to do, is now Owner going to be forced out of here. Nice little front flip.
Jace, TP to the bottom lane.
Okay, Gumayusi doing a lot of damage here to Kroko.
That's pretty massive right before this objective, but Doran went to the bottom lane here to try to deal with this Yorick. Lost half his health bar, and this turret is still looking like it might fall.
Oh my god.
No demolish proc. He got the wave, so he's going to keep the turret alive. But T1 in this awkward spot now where Faker didn't have TP and now has to rush over. They don't have their Jace. And the Jace is going to have to back. And the fact that this Herald is up, they're using it, Bro are using it very well to actually continue to pressure T1 on both sides of the map.
Yeah, and Morgan will be able to, like, because there's no one here yet, Morgan just needs like 2 Qs and this is dead.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, he's going to get this demolish proc he didn't get a second ago and it's just gone.
Yep.
That doesn't cancel teleports anymore, so he may be dead.
Well, he's just going to teleport himself because he knows, oh, the charm has to land, but it does not get it there in time.
And so Faker trades his teleport for this, but they still lose the turret.
Oh, God.
And he gets out with his life. Yorick mastery.
This is just lordly,
No,
the performance. And
dare I say it, is it a good bro macro game?
well, it is so far, but remember what I said about 15 minutes, Wolf. It is now 15 minutes and 50 seconds, and now is about the time where things fall off the rails. So they're going to need to keep it up. But so far, yes, it definitely is a good bro macro game.
At Grok, is it true? But bro winning the macro against T1, defending world champions.
I have a feeling I know what we're going to learn about, and it has nothing to do with League of Legends. Let's just say that. Okay, Morgan back up here towards the top side, level 11. The Maiden well and truly powered up now. And he's even got his steel caps, couple of red rocks, just feeling fantastic. Rift Herald going to be considered by both teams. So we'll see who's going to be able to get the priority around Shelly. Right now it's looking like Bro are in a good spot.
I mean, Closer does not have teleport, so the edge they had for sure, the Shelly was there. It's not there anymore, but it's okay if they can maybe get a top turret for this and Closer keeps pushing.
But also, Faker has to come on over and catch this wave as it crashes in the bottom lane.
Yeah,
and so with Weaver's Wall, of course, the Talia can kind of be anywhere. Gumayusi also possibly in trouble as the Arcane Shift going to be employed to get out of the way of the Seismic Shove.
I think in part, like, T1 were very slow to try to punish as Doran's caught.
There it is. Ghoulie Wall goes down, and Doran going to flash out of the way. The Maiden still getting upset. You can see Morgan with the most gold in the game.
I think there was a real window for T1 to try to do something a little bit more aggressive while Closer was showing there on the bottom lane and try to make something happen for this Herald, but they instead kind of slow-played it. Faker was a very long rotation down to the bottom lane, and now Morgan's going to get this turret for free. He doesn't need the Herald for this one, and I don't know if Faker will be able to say the same about this bottom turret. He has Owner with him, but others are coming down. Closer has Weaver's Wall, and he's going to get a lot of this turret. I'm not sure he's going to get the whole thing, and I think he won't.
No, he's going to have to run away from Closer here, and even going to get thrown back. Nice charm was already in the air as Closer running pretty quickly.
Hype has arrow.
Phase Rush does proc, and it does work against Faker, actually, as Owner here in position. And wisely, Closer is going to move back. Polu not going to be as wise, and so instead going to need to use that heroic charge. Seismic Shove goes wide because of it, as there's the Keeper's verdict. The verdict is no pets allowed. And we'll just evict the dog.
Yeah, I mean, I guess trying to lock an Ahri down would be pretty hard for Hype. He doesn't commit his arrow, but definitely had his finger hovered on that minimap, I think, at that moment in time while his skirmish was breaking out. Paulo losing his ultimate, but doesn't lose his flash, and there's no objective up anytime soon here as T1 were able to secure that second dragon of the game here, so I don't think it's going to matter too much that there's no Keeper's verdict here for Palu, but it's a turret lead here for Bro. They have a Rift Herald they can drop in the mid lane. Not a great timing or anything like that to try to secure Dragon Prio, but that's going to be standing gold, or at least a significant charge in the mid lane for them when they want it. And see if they can keep this control, because like you said, it's the team fights and it's the later game. It's the post 15 minutes where Bro do fall apart oftentimes, but they have so much control now. As long as they just keep putting the pressure on just like they have these last 8 minutes, It's hard to imagine that they're simply going to give up the control of this game. Like, they just keep putting the pressure on. We can carry it.
Yeah, great seismic shove, going to connect onto the cow. And the Bros continuing to throw in this poke. Hype able to layer in these volleys, and he is the only one that's behind on their team. Gumayushi has been doing a really, really good job. Very, very close to 2 items on this Ezreal as well. Now going back, we'll see whether it is going to be Manamune done or whether he still has to wait. Yeah, just Caulfield's going to be put together. So there's still a little while on the 2-item spike that we talk about for the Ezreal, but he is certainly on track for it.
Yeah. You know, otherwise pretty good performance from Guma thus far in this game. Is just farming up a storm, like got a lead. He was the only lead for T1 this entire game, basically, off of his laning prowess into Hype and Palu. And, you know, he's about to become a real big threat and potentially the main character figure for T1 if they're going to get back into it. Because, like I said, if you don't have map control, that poke from Doran and Guma has to land, and the Ezreal is such a big part of that consistent poke to try to fight your way into objectives for the team fighting that T1 is so known for. So, heavy weight on Guma's shoulders if they want to get another 2-0 for the 5-game winning streak. And that 2-item spike is ever closer.
It's feeling a bit worrying, though, because this Yorick owns the side lanes.
Yeah.
He is very scary. 1.6k the advantage for Morgan over Doran right now. And so the Jace not necessarily working out. Ghost blading towards this bottom lane. Will be able to possibly put the final dent into this outer turret in the bottom lane. Going to help T1 out as far as Global Gold is concerned, and they're by no means too far behind as far as that is concerned. It's just looking forward to the rest of this game. That side lane pressure is always going to be there.
Yeah, and T1 are not known to be down 2 turrets at 20 minutes, you know? This is a quite unusual situation as Morgan.
It's a really long lane, by the way. There's the Morning Mist, and there is the Ghoulie Wall. Doran is just dead. He didn't even need to shovel him.
Solo kill.
Yeah, that was, well, it was more of like a 5-person kill because there was like 3 Ghoulies, a Maiden, and a Yorick.
Arrow missed. Solo kill.
Well, I mean, that's actually what it was.
You know, if Hype stole the kill with the arrow, I don't know if we'd feel good or bad about it.
I think we'd just have a giggle.
Yeah.
That's probably where I'd be at. As, yeah, Morgan's like, okay, my minions are better than yours,
I mean, he's so big. He has Shojins.
Yeah,
like,
look at
kills
this.
him if he doesn't
He's able
W.
to flip out of there. But now it's Gumayushi's turn. Faker comes in. Great sidestep. I think Morgan is definitely dead, but he's demonstrating that he's pretty scary. Gets a bunch of his health back. He's running around in circles. The Ghoulie Wall is cute. And the Maiden is going to go down. So Maidenless and dead is Morgan, but Otacon is also dead.
Yeah, I liked it when he killed Doran. That was the good part. The rest
Yeah, that was the good part.
Was kind of cool because they got Otacon. It looked a little bit funny, but so many people have to come to deal with the side lane pressure threat. That is exactly what you want with your side laner.
If Doran dies again, then it's 100% worth, as he has to go in because he knows that he's dead. Good flash comes out there, but Closer puts himself in. The Cyclone from Croco is extraordinary, and they just keep the doggo in the sky, and Closer survives.
Yeah, untarget all this!
Yeah, exactly, as the turret also goes down, as the cannon minion acting as the 6th man on the rift.
Oh man, the slow comes through here. Morgan. He's
and the arrow just spectating. There was a camera, there was like a GoPro on that arrow, so you get that really cool, like, the camera angle.
Yeah, it's like a sports cam.
Yeah.
Instant replay from like the horizontal view. It was a great flash from Closer. Watch this. Croco said, "Ah!"
Yeah, like, no.
And Paulo said, "Not my mid laner." And they did the CC, and the dog was flying, and then down.
Yep, and now Faker is looking to get a dive onto Closer here. Seismic shove actually headbutted into. That was so weird.
Not on my mid laner.
Yeah, they are all defending Closer. Saving Private Closer. That's kind of the way here for the Bros, I guess.
And so many T1 members top side, and guess who's on the bottom side? Split pushing and looking for an inner turret with Demolish procs at the ready. It's my man Morgan.
Yep, and now Doran is fighting Croco. I think my money's on Croco if it's a fair 1v1. As Morgan, yeah, just, like this is just gone. The Maiden going to be put back together. Morgan no longer Maidenless as he gets this wave put together once more. I mean, Paulo also standing his ground against Ona. That is a sign of how this game is going.
I mean, we're one big team fight away from T1 getting back into this game. Like, I want to make sure that we do recognize that T1 is 5,000 gold down, but they have a really good team fighting composition, and they have some of the pieces coming together. Like, the Muramana is almost done for Doran. Guma's is finished. Faker's on 2 items. I do feel like if one fight goes awry, Bro can lose this game, but it just doesn't look like they're interested in losing this game. They are not letting control of sides at all this game. They're playing so well.
Oh my god, how did the seismic shove work?
Yeah, I don't even know.
나이스야. 너무 잘했는데?
Wow. Nice, you did a really good job back there. And the thing is, like, how Bro are playing and how well they're playing around denying T1's catches, I feel like they're feeling themselves right now. Like they've reached the penultimate Bro like confidence and coordination. And also I don't see the way back into the game for T1 unless they make a mistake.
Oh, there's a flash forward as over the wall goes Croco. He's got another section of Cyclone here. I'm pretty sure there it is. He uses it to make his escape. The seismic shove delivers the dog over towards the Bros. And they will say thanks for that one. It's not the hot dog this time around, but they're going to still say it's delicious as Doran looking to try and finish off Polu here, but he's made it to safety. And T1 without their jungler now. And the Baron is spawning in 10 seconds time.
All right. It's not really the T1 control of Baron spawn angle. It's against T1 try to do Baron, which is also a little bit of a scary prospect. Guma does not have summoner spells. Palu running as fast as he can. They're trying to burst this one down, and even Morgan's getting involved, but this is a scary angle here for Bro.
Yeah, Bro really want the turn, and they are going to find it here as down goes the Talia. Morgan gets in amongst it, though, as the Ghoulie wall is down. Palu looking to try and make something happen. The flash forward from Hype's crazy, but it just might work. As down goes Gumayushi in that backline. Morgan is making sure no one else can get in here. And it is Doran and Guma both on the ground, and the Bros, they can go back to the Baron if they'd like, but maybe it is just heal yourself back up and just do the do-si-do again.
Yeah, I think resetting is probably the play as we're going back to how Croco got Guma's sums here with the help of Hype. It's a trade of flashes, but Guma doesn't have his flash for the upcoming fight, is able to get over the wall here, and T1 trying to go back. I mean, they take so much damage. The control here that Bro exercise and the coordination is like, I don't know, this is a different team than what we've watched for most of the season. Here, though, I think the Baron call is a bit greedy, but they pull off of it. Closer does end up getting burst out. This time they can't protect their mid laner. But then Guma, without flash here, is pretty exposed, pretty vulnerable. Doran tries to go in for the heal. And the flash is so intense.
Yeah, Hype really just saw it, and he was like, look, no, we're going.
Somebody said Ezreal no flash, and he said, well.
Me neither.
Yeah. We're in a game state where Guma is still basically the only lead on T1. Guma's Ezreal is not the problem, and it's the side lane problem. It's the 1-4 Jace that's so behind, and the fact that this Yorick just keeps pulling T1 around. T1 is the tennis ball that Bro keep pulling from side lane to side lane. And now looking for more onto Faker. Good charm.
Yeah, and now Faker is kind of in a box. They do put the wall down, but the seismic shove going to pull him back, and man, he had absolutely nowhere to go. Down goes the Fox Lady.
I mean, who's going to deal with Yorick now, by the way? Morgan's level 16.
I don't really have anyone to elect for that one. Is Polu going to stop Ona from getting on top of him? And
would you pick the inhibitor turret? Can you think the inhibitor turret can deal with Morgan? I don't think so. I don't think this inhibitor turret's got it, man. I don't think so.
Doran is shoveling, man, and he's shoveling strongly. Doran comes on over. He's going to stop the inhibitor itself from going down.
Morgan is digging T1's grave, and I think he's about 5.8 feet deep.
Well, Croco's grave might also be there, as never mind, they aren't going to push any further forward. Closer here towards the top side, just dealing with the wave. Hype doing the same thing in mid, and they're making the map feel very small on the side of T1. Let's have a look at this catch onto Faker once again.
Yeah, it's a really nice Weaver's Wall. Faker's charm here denies Closer's follow-up, but there's just not enough T1 here. Way too much, bro. Paul and Croco are still able to collapse, and everyone rotates up anyways. So that means Yorick gets an inhibitor turret, and they're just outpacing T1. I did not have it on my official LCK bingo card that Bro would out-macro T1 with Yorick in Game 2 of this series, but I guess I'll put the X in right now. And when you have a lead like this in side lane pressure, it's not like T1 are playing badly. There's just not much they can do when Bro don't make mistakes and play the macro game perfectly, using the Talia so well.
Well, Faker is, speaking of caster curses, they are real. And the arrow going to connect onto Kerio, who uses the ultimate to deny it. So down goes Closer. Polo going to taxi on the crab and does manage to evict the doggo. But the Bros now in a whole lot of trouble. One after the other, they are going down. As at least it was the decoy that fell there. The flash charm going to be able to pick up Croco, but the Ghoulie wall will just deny. Owner able to front flip his way out. But there is the Warrior Trickster from Croco. He has to use the flash as well, though, as Ona going to get slowed down. There's the blast cone. Morgan just getting amongst it. And he puts a ghoulie wall down. That's going to make sure that even the maiden survives.
I mean, there's a potential Baron angle here if they're confident enough to do so.
Yeah, Croco is still up, but you're right. With 3 versus 5, I don't think Bro can fight for it.
I just don't think Croco can reasonably get there. I think they have enough damage here at this point. Shojin is done for Guma to burst this one down. We're going to see the teleport coming through, but it is a Yorick. Kerry is holding the line here on the edge. Pipe can't get through, and T1 off of the skirmish will take the Baron.
Yep, teleport going to come in from closer. We'll see how many Barons they can actually take off the map, off the back end of this one. I think Doran is definitely dead, as they're just trying to work out whether they can get anyone else. So here's the consolation Jace, and T1 absolutely happy.
I wonder if Bro could just push this naked inhibitor in the bottom lane and try to take that out before T1 can get reset here. Send somebody down there. Faker teleports to the turret. Arrow.
Yeah, going to get the ulti out of Faker. Should mean that this inner turret is going to fall down. So against the flow of play, Bro going to be able to at least get this one back. The Rebel Baron power play getting closer and closer to the negatives. As there's 2 Cloud Drakes, by the way, already picked up in a row here for the Bros. And they're looking for Soul Point.
This is just Morgan now pushing the top inner turret, while the rest of the group of Bros are threatening a potential take of that inhibitor, forcing T1 to rotate over. And they do eventually go and deal with that Yorick. As it all starts off here. The closer ends up getting caught. If I was talking about how he's been playing this Talia so well inside. It ends up being a really long and extended fight, though, with some attempted saves here. It's going to be a really long replay, so the crux is many Bros die, and it's a really cool ghoulie wall and slow by Morgan, who gets betrayed by Croco, almost blast cones him to his death. But it's a really good flash here from Faker, hits the charm. Morgan comes over for the ghoulie wall assist. The Cyclone is really well placed here. And this actually really helps Bro come over to go for the contest. They don't deny the Baron, but they kill Doran and get a good push themselves. So T1, not with a whole lot of power after this play, but they do pick up the Baron for themselves. That's some gold they grab, but it was not the decisive team fight I think they were looking for. You can see it's a small dent in the gold grab here, but T1 have a lot more work to do to get back control of this one.
They absolutely do. So it's not quite working out for this Rebel Baron power play just yet, as we do have like a minute 15 on that one. Still some work to be done. But the problem is that Bro have such a good side laning composition that it's so hard for T1 to actually get these side lanes in order so that they can win out, even with a Baron. And that's kind of nuts, right? Like, that's the power you get with the Yorick.
They got the Jace to the, like, 1% health bottom turret, but he can't kill it. The Yorick deals with it. Now Doran's just alone inside. Almost got the turret. Good try.
Deary me. Well, there goes the shield.
You don't have turrets.
Heroic charge comes on in. Weaver's Wall going to block him off, so that is just a free kill onto the Jace.
I mean, there's turrets everywhere for Bro. Like, T1 only got the mid turret. Every other turret is alive. So Doran has to go so deep and like, can't kill the turret. Then he's just cut off by a Weaver's Wall, and that's the inhibitor. You know, it's just stuff like this that is Bro running circles around what is it, a very attempted Baron power play, but barely in the positives. Faker picks up that top side turret. They're second of the game. But Bro are like, cool, it's your Baron. We're getting more. Inhibitor down, and now threatening the mid inhibitor turret as Faker returns home. But this is the end of the Baron, and it's not a positive.
It's not. And the arrow going to connect on to Carrier, who doesn't press the ulti button, holds onto that one intelligently as well. There's now Morgan throwing out some mist, but as you can see, it's Hype getting to work on the second inhibitor for the Bros. And the base is getting so small here for T1. They just don't seem to have too many answers for Bro just closing in and breaking their stuff.
They just can't get a true 5v5 team fight because they're always a man down. They're always, sometimes multiple members down, trying to kill this Yorick. And we've seen Morgan do this on other picks. We've seen him do it on Jax. We've seen him do it on Camille, where he's just this insane raid boss side laner. And this is one of those games where you need 2+ people to deal with him. Because if you just send one, then Closer's like, okay, I'll be right there. And he just Weaver's Walls over and kills you. And if you send 2, like, you might still die, actually, because he's so big and has a hull breaker, by the way. And so T1 never get to have that proper 5v5 fight. If they won just one, with all the standing goal on the map, with all the turrets they haven't taken yet, they'd be right back in the game and maybe even in the driver's seat. But Bro are just not letting control of this game go back into their hands. I feel like a weaker team would have messed up the macro, would have gotten caught in sides, and Bro just aren't making any mistakes.
They're not. And they're putting the Yorick into the only other side of the map that does have an inhibitor. As I say that, he's teleporting into the mid lane because there is a soul point to fight for. Ona goes untargetable to avoid the arrow. And we'll have that one back off cooldown relatively quickly. Morgan moving on over. Remember, the hull breaker not doing as much at this point in time now that he's grouped with the rest of his team. They do want to make sure that they can confirm this dragon. And all they have to do is wait.
Yeah, there's a huge wave in the top lane that Doran is dealing with. He can teleport over. Super minions starting to stack up 2 of them in the bottom lane. I don't think T1 can win this, so maybe a steal.
Crucial Barrage was cute.
Fairly close.
Yeah, not quite enough, but yeah, as you say, closer than it had any right to be.
I don't think that was a fight T1 could win, but they can try to get some side lane control. That turret in the top lane is gone, so Doran can actually turn what was a big wave into his big wave. They have control of the top side. Bro don't have vision here. Hype, careful on taking wolves, careful on moving over here alone, because hide on bush is definitely kind of the traps that need to be set here for T1 to catch members where they have pockets of vision missing. And that was a potential angle there. They are not quite able to catch Bro, though. Bro, don't make that mistake. They're moving really fast on the Rift with your favorite Cloud Drake.
Heck yeah, they got 3 of them.
3.
If they, like, another 4.5 minutes, and it could be like the Quadra Cloud Soul. Oh, it's my absolute favorite.
I told everyone they paid their taxes. I mean, we did check on this.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we've had a few extra subscriptions as well, so the bro flags are also in there, which is like the best way to pay your bro tax. Highlight the bro flags.
The 4-1 here is so insanely strong, and trying to peel off to kill Morgan is just not realistic.
And also, when you've got 2 inhibitors down, it just makes this play so comfortable. The Unbreakable Will onto Carrier there as the Charm will connect as Morgan is making his way over, but I don't think you're winning that 1v1 as the flash forward from Polo is massive. The triple knock-up from Croco as well on this Wukong. Gumayushi goes down and Carrier alongside him. And Doran, of course, is dead at the same time. Faker still in this 1v1 as the Blast Cone might save his life. And the popcorn for Dagon is tasting better and better as the bros look to knock down the Nexus and bring us to a Game 3. Oh, what a day for a 6-gamer, Wolf.
Oh, man, back-to-backs, in fact. And Bro said, you're not getting your revenge against us tonight. They were able to take out